beginning of the strategy so that we can start using logical levels of therapy to loosen that therapy up. You'll see a massive physiological shift when I get the one submodality shift that's going to make the difference. Also, difference here with logical levels of therapy is that not only do we change the submodalities, but I also change the content of the movie too. So here you go. Let's cut to the video, then I'll come back at the end of it and tell you a little bit of the backstory, or what happened next, if you like.
So you have a phobia of flight.
Yeah.
And even when a plane flies, you see a plane fly. Even when you see a plane flying over your head, that fires it off. Yeah. And you can feel it now, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So notice that your hands are shaking as far as that's concerned. Okay, great. So I'm just. We've already checked that it's totally okay with your unconscious mind for you to have an undeniable experience of this phobia disappearing today. Yeah. Cool. I mean, do you ever actually fly?
I haven't done since I was about 13.
You haven't since you were 13. Okay, great. So you just can't get near to the things. Brilliant. Okay. So I'm just curious. How do you know it's time to do this phobia? Is it something that you see in your mind, or?
Because I want to get on holiday.
So, but you want to go on holiday, which is the reason why you want to get rid of it. Yeah. But how do you know that it's time to feel that way? Is it something that you see in your mind, or?
You mentioned it.
Just mentioned it. But when I mentioned it, what happened inside? Did you see
I felt like
pictures?
I was on a plane.
You felt like you were on a plane, right? And what happened before you felt like you were on a plane? Did you see something? Did you hear something?
No, I just felt like I was on a plane.
Right. Okay. So, but how do you know it's time to get that feeling? Because you said something about even flying over your head.
It's difficult to explain.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what happens inside? Because here's the thing. So I'm from a temporary phobia agency, which means that what people can do is they can hire me to fill in for them. So if you were to go on holiday and not do your phobia, we wouldn't want you to get fired if you had a phobia. So what I do is I fill in for you, do it for you, whilst you're away. And I haven't got a phobia of flying, so you need to teach me how to do it. So what's the very first thing I need to do inside?
Think of nothing else but flying.
Okay, and how do I think about it? Is that a picture or something? Or?
It's a picture of a plane.
It's a picture of a plane. Am I inside the plane or outside?
Outside initially.
Outside of the plane. Okay, great. Is that a big picture or a small picture?
Big.
Big picture. Could it be a small picture and still work?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And is it a colour picture or a black and white colour? Could it be a black and white picture and still work?
Yes.
Okay. And where's the picture located? Is it close or far
Black
away?
screen, far away.
Far away. Okay. And if it was closer, would that still work?
Yes.
Okay, great. And is it 3D or flat?
3D.
Okay. Could it be a flat picture and still work?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And is it movie or still?
Still.
Okay. Could it be a movie and still work?
Yes.
What if the movie went backwards? Oh. That was different, wasn't it?
Now I'm worried about dying backwards.
Dying backwards is being born, though, isn't it? Is there a soundtrack to this? No. I mean, if there was like the flight announcement, it's flying backwards now, so it'd be like the flight announcement. Like that. How would that change it now? It'd freak you out. Yeah. It would be a different freak out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what happens if you get in the plane?
Cry.
Okay. So just get out of the plane. Yeah. Just nicely landing backwards. Now, what would it be like? What would be like if that movie you had in your mind was like a cartoon plane flying backwards? Better. Yeah. Like bright yellow. Yeah. Cool. So what we're doing is just scrambling the internal representations that create the state. And you'll also notice that just by doing that, we've started to change the intensity of the emotions as far as that's concerned. Okay, so you know where you're targeting. Which direction did you point for your past?
Left.
Left, great. And which direction was the future?
Right.
Okay, great. And do you notice that they suggest a line?
Yes.
Cool. Cool, great. Now what we're going to do first is we're going to practice floating above that line. Okay? So just do, in whatever way you do, just bring to mind the directions you're going to do for the past and the future. Notice that they suggest a line. And then float up above that line. If you find it easiest to float above the line, by closing your eyes, you can go ahead and close your eyes, whichever way is easiest for you. Then trusting your unconscious mind, just ask your unconscious mind to float you over the past. Are you there?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, ask your unconscious mind to float you back to now, and stop there. And if you're not already, turn to face the future. Facing the future, float higher and further back. Okay. Cool. Now ask your unconscious mind to float you out over the future. You there? Great. Now float so high above your timeline that your timeline seems like 1 inch long down below you. Okay? Cool. Then come back to that. How's that?
Felt quite nice.
Good. Brilliant. Good. So what we need to do now is to get the from Nathan's unconscious mind, the first event. Yeah. So this is not thinking about it. Let's go with the very, very first answer that pops into your mind. Whether it makes sense or not, whether it's a memory you remember or not, just the very first thing that pops into your mind. So ask your unconscious mind, what's the first event, the root cause of this phobia of flying?
9/11.
Okay, well that's conscious mind. Let's see what your unconscious mind says here. So maybe, let's just go in. So ask your unconscious mind, what's the first event, the root cause of this phobia of flying? So if you were to disconnect it, would cause the phobia to disappear from your life forever. If you were to know, was it before, during, or after your birth? First thing pops into your mind.
After.
Great. And if you were to know, what age were you? First number that pops into your mind?
13.
13. And is that 9/11?
I'm not sure.
Okay, doesn't matter. So let's go with that. Yeah. So find your timeline again. Float way up in the air. And trusting your unconscious mind, ask your unconscious mind to float you over the past, all the way to position number 1 on that first event when you were 13, which is above the event and after the event, facing the past. So the event's below you and in front of you as you face the past. Are you there? Great. Now ask your unconscious mind to float you directly to position number 2, which is directly above the event, looking down on the event. Then ask your unconscious mind, what is there for you to learn from that event? The learning of which will enable you to let go of the phobia easily and effortlessly. And ask your unconscious mind to preserve those learnings in the place it preserves for all such learnings. So if you need them in the future, they'll be there. And as you allow the learnings to bubble up from the depths of your deeply unconscious to your conscious, what are the learnings that your unconscious mind's giving you about this event? First thing that pops into your mind.
Stop watching TV.
So what are you going to do instead of
Read a book.
And what else is there for you to learn before you let all the phobia your unconscious mind? What else is there for you to learn? First thing that pops into your mind.
Nothing. Sorry.
That's all right. Just allow the learnings to bubble up from your unconscious mind. What is there for you to learn about this event? The learning of which will enable you to let the phobia go. What do you get?
I really want to say I need to get on a plane.
You want to say you need to get on a plane?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what you need to say.
That's what I feel like.
That's what you feel like. Okay, great. Let's need to get on a plane. Cool. Is there anything else for you to learn before you let all the phobia go?
No, I really can't think.
You can't think of anything. Great. So now ask your unconscious mind then to float you to position number 3, which is before the event and above the event. And turn around and face now, so the event's below you and in front of you as you're facing now. You there? Then float higher, float further back. But only as high and as far back as you need to go to have the fear disappear. Right now. So then ask yourself, now where's the fear? Did it disappear?
I've no fear.
Sorry?
There's no fear there.
There's no fear.
No.
Great. Well, let's test, because I'm not completely convinced. So just ask your unconscious mind to float you down into your body at the time, looking through your own eyes. Has all the fear disappeared?
No.
Does it all disappear? You sure it's not all disappeared?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So come back to position number 3 again. Before the event number 2. Facing now. And then ask your unconscious mind to float you higher up, further back. Higher up, further back. But only as high up and as far back as you need to go for all of the fear to totally disappear. Right there. So ask yourself, now where's the fear? Did it disappear?
Yeah.
Great. Let's test it again, just to make sure. So float down into the event, looking through your own eyes. Now has all the fear disappeared?
No.
Okay, cool. So come back to position number 3. Now ask your unconscious mind, is there an earlier event than this one? Ask your unconscious mind to take you back to before the very first one and let all the fear go. You there?
Yeah.
Great. So now where's the fear? Has it disappeared?
Yeah.
Great. So float down into the event again, looking through your own eyes. Now is it all gone?
Yeah.
Cool. Good. So come back to position number 3 again. Before the event, above the event. Now ask your unconscious mind to bring you back up on your timeline, only as quickly as your unconscious mind can assume position number 3 on each related subsequent event, preserving any further positive learnings and releasing all of the emotions all the way back to now. Preserving the learnings, releasing the emotions all the way back to now. Back and down. Great. And come back down to it. How was that?
Serene.
Serene. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, let's test it. So can you think of an event in the past? An event in the past which you thought about it previously would have caused you to have that old fear, and notice how it's different now.
Yeah.
And how's it different?
Do you want me to tell you what the event was?
Hmm?
Yeah. I was coming back from Greece.
Right.
And the plane then crashed.
Okay. Right. So as you think about that now, how is it different now? As you
And I can actually think about it clearly.
Okay. Whereas before you kind of like, you couldn't think about it.
I just got worried.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now it's all the emotion disappeared. I mean, we know it happened, so.
Well, think about it rationally.
Okay, cool. So, can you think of an event in the future? An event in the future, which had happened in the past, would have caused you to experience that old fear, and notice how that's different.
Yeah.
How is that different?
I actually want to go on holiday.
You want to go on holiday? And where are you going to go?
Spain.
Spain. And when are you going? It's in the watch. I'm not. Where are you going? Spain.
It's in the watch.
So when are you going to go to Spain?
May next year.
May next year?
Yeah.
Cool, that's a pretty good goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. And now when you think about that, how is it different? Now you think about actually going on a plane to Spain, how is it different?
I'm looking forward to it now.
You're looking forward to it?
I know it's war.
Wouldn't bother me. So what were you going to say?
Fine, let's see.
Well, it is, isn't it? What do you reckon, Nathan? Do you think we've done it?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. As you can see, a very, very successful demonstration of the removal of a phobia with logical levels of therapy, which is like conversational submodality changing, and negative emotions number 1 to finally release the phobia. And I think the whole thing took around about 13, 14 minutes, something like that. obviously from the stage I had been explaining how timeline therapy worked and the unconscious mind and all those kind of things. But even with a client coming straight off the street, then we're looking at well under an hour to get that kind of result. I got a letter from the demonstration subject several months later saying that it had completely changed his career because the company that he worked for wanted him to do some projects in Scandinavia, and previously he'd turned all of that down because it meant going on a plane and he couldn't do that. Whereas after that intervention, he could get onto a plane, so take the career opportunities of going to Scandinavia, which he did do very, very successfully, and also, of course, successfully went on holiday. So if you would like to learn how to do those kind of things with your clients, then they're in our NLP practitioner certification. And also the logical levels of therapy is in conversational change, which is in the I Am David Shepherd app under the NLP certification programs. Also, if you'd like to experience that for yourself, if you have a phobia, for instance, and you'd like to quickly get rid of it in one session, then my fixers at Fix My Mind, fixmymind.co.uk, will be more than happy to assist you in achieving that. Thanks for joining me again, and I shall see you next Thursday. David Shepherd's Facebook Live.